What's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button, and if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this beautifully honest reaction.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind when we rewind.
What is up, guys? Let me go ahead and get into this, and I'm a little late getting into this topic because I had been meaning to talk about this for a minute. This was shared with me, and I'm like not really that surprised. It just is what it is. It's par for the course these days when it comes to Funky Dineva. And I actually had some other commentary. I still have it. I'm working on it now, and I will be getting that out very soon. But let's just go ahead and get into this because he went live earlier this week and he had a few choice thoughts that he wanted to share about his followers with a vagina, like he says it, who work 9 to 5 jobs. So let's just go ahead and get into this. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get into this right now. All right.
This situation, and just for clarity, this next set of commentary is directed specifically towards people who was born with a vagina in between.
Pacifically. It's specifically, Pacific is an ocean. Okay? And some of you may say, he was just being funny. That's how he is. No, he wasn't. And I only pointed that out because he loved to talk about how intelligent he is, right? And he was talking about how he has more education than Michelle A.T.L. Brown, and he ain't, she ain't smarter than him. She don't have more education than him. But we learned the difference between specific and Pacific in elementary school. Just saying.
Between their legs and their butt. This comment is specifically for women. And it just amazes me sometimes how people of the female persuasion will be the first person to stand up and call out misogyny when it doesn't benefit them, but then they want to lean on misogyny when they're able to weaponize it and get their way out of it. So I'm going to pat myself on the back and say that across this last week, I've been successful in flipping the narrative in this situation with me and Tamar, right? Like I feel like I've done a very good job of defending myself and calling out inconsistencies and pointing out facts to the point now where there is not a person alive that thinks I did something nefarious to this woman. Not to mention for all of y'all out there that just sat up and made all types of ID channel think pieces. I'll be sitting back actually waiting on apology videos. And
well, that ain't happening, and especially not for me, because definitely I never said he did anything to her. I never came out and said he did anything nefarious to her. I actually did share some commentary where it's very interesting that he's calling out females. Like he says, what people who were born with a vagina in between their legs and in their butt, which is disgusting. But he says the ones that were born with it, not the ones that had them created. You caught that, right? But I share commentary where Choke No Joke, who is one of those men who were not born with a vagina and did not pay a doctor to create one for him later in life, said that he believes that he had something to do with it. And I didn't share that just for the sake of saying and rubbing my palms together saying, see, someone else is saying he has something to do with it. I mainly shared that to show that there was a man, okay? I mainly shared that to show that there was a man that was saying he believed he had something to do with what happened to Tamar. And quite frankly, I don't believe that he was successful in defending himself against the so-called allegations, of which he was the one that added salt to the wound, who added water to the fire to make it bigger. Tamar just was not a worthy opponent because people were already looking at her sideways, side eyeing her and her ways and all of that stuff. So it wasn't it wasn't the fact that he came out and he was so great at defending himself. Tamar was just a terrible plaintiff, if you will. Similar to the Diddy trial. It was really hard for them to find him guilty on a RICO when the plaintiff, what was the state, had witnesses that were not the best representations of victims, period. So it's not so much of a win for you. It's just kind of like, yeah, prosecution just didn't really have a great case, but the nigga's guilty of some stuff. That's pretty much the way we're looking at it. Those who have sense are looking at it. And then Mr. Intelligence spells Tuesday with two D's. I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, let's continue.
Waiting for you to say I was wrong and waiting for you to say, you know, it's silly of me that I sat on the internet and made whole 30 and 40-minute videos, 20-minute videos with 2 bullet points worth of information. And I filled in everything else with my own creative juices and sauces, because that's what y'all did. Y'all filled in the gaps. Y'all made up the stories that fit whatever narrative that you had already developed in your mind. Now that the dust has settled and I have unequivocally put that situation and put her in their respective places, now the narrative has become, but you a man arguing with a woman. But you a man arguing with a woman, just like a punk, just like a faggot. But you a whole man. I never respect him. He a whole man.
And see, that's the thing that he will never get. It wasn't people, and yeah, maybe some people said it in that way, but again, in that way is what a lot of people had the issues with in the first place. Not even saying he had anything to do with what allegedly happened to her, if anything did happen to her. A lot of people were like, it was the way he talked about it. He was dismissive of it, and also he was calling her that lady. A lot of people were put off by how he presented it and how he was talking about somebody who was supposedly his friend. And then after he got pissed and falls out with her, then he's calling her a muppet, which he knows is something that really gets under her skin. We already have the video clips of her when she was on the reel crying about being called a muppet by K Michelle. So he knows that that's something that hurts her. And if you claim that you were ever a real friend, you wouldn't do anything like that. So that is more so what people have the issue with. It's not so much him fussing or arguing with a woman. So again, he's flipping it.
A whole man arguing with a woman. And let me explain something to y'all. And to the day I die, I'll be a whole man that's going to argue with a woman. I'll argue with a woman. I'll argue with a child. I'll argue with another man. And I'll argue with an elderly person. You are not about to use other men's fragile ego, their fragile masculinity, their fragile pride, and try to flip that around and use it as a tool to browbeat me into submission. Okay? The question that I have for all of you guys who are of the persuasion that he's such a faggot, he out there arguing with a woman. So because the person you're rooting for lost, now it's I'm arguing for a woman. So let me ask you a question for all of my he's a man arguing with a woman people. What was I supposed to do? Women, because I'm talking to y'all specifically. You hate misogyny when it's used against you, but you want to lean on it when you think it benefits you. So you're not winning the argument. You lost the fight. You look bad at this point. No one believes you at this point. You're looking crazy at this point. Said man did what he's supposed to do. And instead of just taking the L, apologizing, being empathetic, being diplomatic, and seeing that this man was out here fighting for his life or this man had the right to defend himself, you still can't even give me that. All this transpired, and the best you can come up with is he a man arguing with a woman. Instead of saying what you really want to say, but your spirit won't allow you to because you too ornery, which was, damn, I was wrong about Funky Dineva. Like all those bottled up feelings of resentment and anger that a lot of y'all feeling right now towards me, The way you fix that, I'm going to give you an out. This is how you fix it. I don't like Funky Dineva. I rarely agree with Funky Dineva. Funky Dineva gets on my nerves, but he got this one. He did that. I was wrong. That's it. And I promise you, all those unresolved feelings that you feel in your chest, it'll make them all go away. See, the problem is many of y'all spent the whole weekend trying to villainize me. Then you move the goalpost. Then I hit your ass with another receipt. Then you move the goalpost again. Then I hit your ass with another receipt. Then you move the goalpost again. And then when you realize, okay, bitch, I can't move the goalpost no more, then y'all want to move the battle to a plane that can't be qualified. Oh, now he a man arguing with a woman. And again, that only works on men with fragile egos. Fragile egos. I have been called and considered less than a man ever since I was in elementary school, baby. Okay. Maybe.
Well, when you were in elementary school, you weren't a man. But again, he's focusing on women. I don't, and he says, I'll argue with a child, I'll argue with an old person, I'll argue with a man. But we rarely see that because I haven't heard him. And hey, maybe I missed it. Maybe he did do it. But I haven't heard him respond to Tamar's former assistant, LaTroy. Have you? But he's focusing on the women right now.
And to make myself feel whole and to make myself feel right. And y'all hoes can kiss my ass. And for that, I will forever be less than a man, a punk, a sissy. It makes me a proud punk and a proud sissy that I can hold my head up high and not succumb to societal pressures and misogynistic interests of calling me less than a man. It makes me feel real good. And last but not least, so we can just move on. So we can move on. You will never be able to hurt my feelings or browbeat me into submission and you don't live the life I live. I'm sorry. This is going to sound rude and it's going to sound very disrespectful. I will never upset my makeup or disturb my tears for no bitch that get up and go to work every day. There is nothing that a bitch who work out of a cubicle or a desk with a name placard on it, or there is nothing who bitch last name appear with a 3-digit extension next to the name on the company directory that can ever say to me to upset my makeup and disturb my tears, baby. We don't even play in the same life. We don't even play in the same. We don't live in the same neighborhood. We don't shop at the same place. We don't even we don't even pray to the same person.
And I'm going to pause it right there and actually stop right there. I'm not even going to play any more of it because it's just foul. But that, again, is what people were mainly talking about, the foulness of his character, because this is the type of this is what he displays. And it is him lumping people who he calls haters into this box of people who are working a 9 to 5 job, working in a cubicle. Like, first of all, you know how many people have been been employed at great companies where they're actually making really great money and they work 9 to 5. Like, there are a lot of people who make over $300,000 a year who work 9 to 5. Their careers, but he calls it a job, right? But two, that to me displays what he thinks of the people who, one, follow him, and two, who have the nerve and the audacity to share their opinions about him. And it has to be people, women who are miserable working jobs that they hate. And then he'll rub it in their face and say, we don't live in the same neighborhoods, we don't shop at the same places, you don't live the life that I live, we probably don't pray to the same God. Yeah, you're probably right about that. And that one was the one that was like, ugh. So to hear him say that, and it's so disrespectful. I have much respect for people who work jobs, okay? I have been an entrepreneur for 18 years. It's not easy, okay? And what he's doing is his job. He's just not going into somebody's office, but it's a job. He's doing it every day, right? It may not be 9 to 5, but it's work. And it's work that he clearly has had issues with because he hasn't even been able to be consistent doing that. And to throw it in people's face about how well he's living and he gets to go on yachts and eat crab legs every other day and drink and snort and do edibles and whatever. It's just like it's so ridiculous. And but most importantly, it's so superficial. But this is who he is. And this is why a lot of people had issues with him. It was not so much to say, yeah, I believe he did it because he's a crackhead. A lot of people were like, the way he discussed it is disgusting because he has low character. I want to read a comment that somebody said, and they said, shout out to all the 9 to 5 girls, the ones with the extension after their last name. Y'all make the world go round. Y'all waive our overdraft fees. Y'all tell us we filed out the wrong app when putting our baby daddies on child support. Y'all file our taxes. Y'all tell us how to appeal when we crying in the county office because our benefits got taken away. The nurse managers help us when we feel like our family member isn't getting proper care. Y'all help us with those loan applications. Give our kids candy when they get restless from standing in the line at BMW. Y'all deliver our mail, and y'all certainly have those good ass benefits and pension. That part. Y'all are appreciated more than y'all know. And I thought that was important to point out because that's just so freaking disrespectful. And even Tabitha recently did a video where she was talking about people who own businesses, entrepreneurs. Like, if you're going through some struggling, rough times, it's okay to get a job for a little while. There is honor in honorable work that is legal. So for him to say stuff like that, again, this speaks to his character low. And hey, I'm not here to try to hurt his feelings. I'm just speaking my opinion about the feelings that he expresses. And there is nothing wrong with that. His opinion is his opinion, mine is mine, others are theirs. But it was just completely classless and low. And this is it this is what people say and they mean when they say when people get money, they don't change, it just magnifies who they really are. So what he displays, if he's making $50,000 a month or whatever, kudos to him. But the type of life that he's living, I probably can assure you and guarantee that he ain't saving it or investing it. It's being blown and wasted because he just lives the life of what he calls a rich white woman. He doesn't have respect for black women, but that's who his audience is. He kind of reminds me of Darius Cooks. They call Darius Crooks the internet cook. He calls himself a chef, but he's not. But all of his followers are black women, and he's disrespectful to them. If it weren't for them, he wouldn't have been able to get to the heights that he's gotten to be able to make the type of money that he's been able to make over the years. But he really doesn't like them and doesn't have any respect for them. And big shock, he's also a gay black man as well. So I digress. I just wanted to talk about that real quick, guys. I really want to know what you think. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.